the Mediterranean Sea, an ancient cradle of civilization, has always been more than just a body of water. It's a connector, a cultural bridge, an economic lifeline. And no one understood this better than They weren't just sailors, they were the masters of the sea. They built the first maritime superpower, their tentacles reaching into every corner of the Mediterranean, their jewel, their crown, their pride, the city of Carthage, where we begin our tale today. Located in modern-day Tunisia, Carthage wasn't just another port city. It was the beating heart of the Phoenician world, the epicenter of their trade, their politics, their culture. To understand how the Phoenicians dominated the Mediterranean, you have to understand Carthage. So let's start at the beginning. How did the Phoenicians rise to maritime supremacy? How did Carthage become the hub of their empire? And what does the study of these ancient civilizations tell us about the power of trade and the allure of the sea? Join me on this journey as we unravel the secrets of an ancient world that thrived on the waves. Imagine the Mediterranean as a vast network of waterways linking the ancient world together. Along this watery highway, the Phoenicians established their dominance. But it wasn't just about brute force or military might. It was about understanding the language of the seas, about predicting the winds, about building ships that danced with the waves, not against them. The Phoenicians weren't just sailors, they were pioneers. They developed advanced ships, introduced new navigation techniques, and established a web of trade routes that would make any modern logistics company envious. Their ships weren't the biggest or the most heavily armed, but they were fast, nimble, and efficient, perfect for the shorter routes of the Mediterranean. But why is this important? Why should we care about this ancient maritime feat? Because it wasn't just about it was about laying the groundwork for global trade, proving that the sea could be a path to prosperity, not just a watery barrier. Now, let's turn our attention to the cultural aspect of Phoenician dominance. They didn't just control the seas, they bridged cultures. Through their extensive trade networks, they facilitated the exchange of ideas, customs, and innovations. This cultural medley was a key ingredient in the rich tapestry of the ancient world. Think of the Mediterranean as a melting pot, not just of cultures, but of languages. The Phoenicians played a pivotal role in this linguistic fusion, carrying words and phrases across the waves like flotsam on the current, and one of their most enduring contributions was the alphabet. Yes, that alphabet, those 26 letters that you're reading with right now, Phoenician traders adapted an Egyptian hieroglyphic system, creating a simplified alphabet that revolutionized writing. This innovation wasn't just about convenience or efficiency, it was about opening the doors to literacy for many civilizations, including the Greeks and eventually the Romans. Literacy is more than just a tool. It's a catalyst for progress, a key to preserving history, and a passport to cross the boundaries of time. And let's not forget about religion. The Phoenicians weren't just traders of goods, they were carriers of beliefs. As their ships sailed into different ports, they carried with them tales of their gods and goddesses, their rituals and their myths. This religious exchange wasn't forced, it was a natural byproduct of their extensive travels. It was about sharing stories around campfires, under starry Mediterranean skies. The Phoenician legacy isn't just about what they left behind, it's about what they sparked. They ignited the passion for exploration, the thirst for knowledge, and the desire to connect with distant lands. In a world often divided by differences, they showed that trade and cultural exchange could be the common thread weaving civilizations together. But enough about the broader impact. Let's zoom in on Carthage. This city was more than just a trading post. It was a symbol of Phoenician ingenuity, adaptability, and sheer determination. Founded around 814 BC, Carthage wasn't built on the Anatolian coast of modern Turkey, but across the sea in North Africa. Its strategic location on the Mediterranean made it a natural hub for trade, a gateway between Europe, Africa, and the Middle East. But the story of Carthage isn't just about location. It's about how the Phoenicians leveraged that location into a powerhouse of trade and culture. Let's talk about their economy. Carthage was a wealthy city, very wealthy. And the secret sauce was their monopoly on key trade goods like purple dye, ivory, and silver. These weren't just everyday commodities. They were status symbols, luxuries that made kings covet and queens crave. But why is this important? Why should we care about ancient monopolies? Because it shows us the power of specialization. The Phoenicians didn't try to be jacks of all trades. They focused on what they were good at, mastering the art of seafaring and trade. And in doing so, they created wealth that would put any modern CEO to shame. Now, let's turn to the cultural riches of Carthage. This wasn't just a city of merchants and sailors. It was a melting pot of cultures, a place where East met West and traditions intertwined. Imagine walking down the streets of ancient Carthage, hearing the murmur of a dozen different languages, seeing goods from distant lands, and smelling the aroma of spices that traveled on the same winds as the mythical sirens. It wasn't just a city, it was a microcosm of the Mediterranean world. And at the heart of this cultural kaleidoscope was the great harbor of Carthage. This wasn't just a place to dock ships. It was the pulse of the city, the hub of its trade, and the stage for its cultural performances. The harbor was alive with activity. Ships from distant lands unloaded their treasures, merchants hawked their wares, and sailors from a dozen different nations shared their tales. It was a feast for the eyes, a smorgasbord of sights, sounds, and smells. But the grandeur of the harbor was matched only by the ambition of Carthage's rulers. They weren't content with just being the biggest player in the Mediterranean. They wanted to dominate, to control the very lifeblood of the sea. Enter the Carthaginian navy. This wasn't just a fleet of fishing boats or leisurely yachts. There was a battle fleet, a symbol of power and a tool of expansion. The Carthaginians fielded some of the largest and most formidable ships of their era, vessels that dwarfed the navies of many other Mediterranean powers. These ships weren't just instruments of war. They were chariots of commerce, carrying goods and influence across the Mediterranean. The Carthaginians used their naval supremacy to control trade routes, protect their far-flung colonies, and project their power from the coast of Spain to the shores of Sicily. And then came the clash of titans, the Punic Wars with Rome. This wasn't just a conflict over land or resources. It was a battle for control of the Mediterranean itself. The wars between Carthage and Rome were a watershed moment in ancient history, a clash between two titans that would shape the destiny of the Mediterranean. The Punic Wars were a brutal, bloody affair, but they were also a testament to the power of seafaring nations. Both Carthage and Rome understood the strategic value of the Mediterranean, and they fought tooth and nail to control its waves. Ultimately, Carthage met its demise in 146 BCE when Rome, under the second triumvirate of Lucius Mummius, utterly destroyed the city. It was a tragic end for a once great power, but it was a necessary one for Rome's rise to dominance. The story of Carthage is a tale of ambition, achievement, and ultimate destruction. It asks a reminder that even the mightiest of empires are not invincible, and that the sands of fortune can turn against the greatest of powers. Yet, despite its tragic ending, the legacy of Carthage lives on in the annals of history, inspiring awe and wonder at the heights that humanity can achieve when it harnesses the power of the sea. Carthage may have met its demise in 146 BCE, but its influence echoed through the corridors of history. The wealth generated by its extensive trade routes helped make it a patron of arts and learning. Great philosophers like Hannibal Barca found patronage in Carthage, shaping the intellectual currents of the ancient world. The city's commitment to education wasn't confined to the elite. Carthage had public schools where children, regardless of their social status, could learn reading, writing, and arithmetic. These institutions played a vital role in shaping the city's identity as a hub of learning. Moreover, Carthage wasn't just a center for traditional academic pursuits. It encouraged practical skills like navigation and shipbuilding, essential for its seafaring empire. The city's investment in these practical arts ensured that its dominance at sea remained unchallenged. The Phoenicians were master seafarers who established extensive networks connecting civilizations across the Mediterranean. Their voyages weren't just about exploring new lands. They were about forging connections, building relationships, and creating pathways for trade and cultural exchange. Traveling along these trade routes was like embarking on a grand adventure. The Phoenician ships, with their deep holds and sturdy masts, would sail from city to city, each stop offering a new experience, new goods, and new stories. For example, the route between Tyre and Gades modern-day Cadiz in Spain, was a journey of about 3,000 kilometers. Along this route, Phoenician ships would make stops at various ports, each offering unique products and cultural encounters. In Matia, modern-day Malta, the Phoenicians would stock up on fresh fruits and fish. Further down the coast, in Carthage, they would find skilled artisans and a thriving marketplace. As the ships continued their journey, they would encounter diverse cultures, exchanging goods and ideas that enriched both the Phoenicians and the civilizations they interacted with. Along the coast of modern-day Morocco, the Phoenicians would trade with the exchanging olive oil and wine for precious metals and exotic woods. The cultural exchange didn't end at trade. The Phoenicians, with their deep respect for other cultures, would often adapt local motifs and designs into their own crafts, creating a beautiful fusion of artistic styles. For instance, in their glasswork and metal, they incorporated patterns and motifs inspired by the regions they visited, creating unique pieces that were not just functional, but also works of art. One of the most fascinating aspects of the Phoenicians' Mediterranean domination was their ability to navigate the vast sea routes that connected the known world. They developed ingenious methods and tools that allowed them to traverse the Mediterranean with ease, even in the absence of modern navigational aids. The Phoenicians' mastery of navigation stemmed from their intimate knowledge of the sea. They observed the stars, the currents, and the winds, developing a deep understanding of the patterns that governed the Mediterranean. This knowledge, passed down through generations of sailors, formed the backbone of their navigational prowess. Their ships were equipped with simple yet effective navigational tools, including the which they used to determine latitude by measuring the position of stars in the sky. Additionally, they kept meticulous records of their voyages, noting distances and landmarks, creating charts that helped future sailors navigate the same routes. The Phoenicians' navigational expertise wasn't just about charting courses. It was about ensuring the safety of their ships and crews. They understood the importance of weather forecasting and developed systems to predict storms and other adverse conditions. Their ability to navigate safely and efficiently made their trade routes not only profitable, but also sustainable, allowing them to maintain their dominance in the Mediterranean for centuries. In conclusion, the Phoenicians stand as a testament to human curiosity, daring, and the relentless pursuit of exploration. Their legacy serves as a reminder that the sea, far from being a barrier, can be a pathway to prosperity, cultural exchange, and global interconnectedness. As we reflect on their remarkable journey, we reminded of the timeless allure of the unknown and the courage it takes to navigate the uncharted waters of the world. The story of the Phoenicians and Carthage is more than just a tale of ancient civilizations. It's a reflection of human ambition, adaptation, and the relentless pursuit of growth. The Phoenicians' mastery of the seas and their ability to connect diverse cultures through trade serve as a timeless lesson in the power of exploration and the importance of cultural exchange. Their legacy continues to resonate, reminding us that the world is vast, full of wonders, and that the spirit of adventure is an essential part of the human experience. Please, if this video was interesting to you, consider subscribing to the channel and leaving your like